Good afternoon. We are continuing with our Unit 5, working with those ratios and proportions. Today we are doing PO32. It is a power objective. This is important that we know how to do it. I can solve a proportion using equivalency and cross products. Remember, equivalency means that going from one side to the other, we're multiplying or dividing by the same number. Cross products are when we're multiplying diagonally and we get the same number. So up until now, your work with ratios and rates has been primarily with values that work out evenly. That is, you can use equivalency, those equivalent fractions, to solve them. Like we were just talking about when we were correcting yesterday's. Last week's. This objective will focus on proportions that do not have a whole number scale factor. Hooray for those cross products. So we're going to not be able to go evenly from one side to the other. We can't say, oh, we're multiplying both top and bottom by 3. It's not going to be easy like that. So we're going to use those cross products to find our missing number. Remember, those cross products are when we do diagonals. All right, so we're going to see how we find our missing variable. Solve each proportion using cross products. Show your work. So if you're using the calculator to help, you're going to put what calculations you're putting into your calculator. So we know what we did to see if we made a mistake, see where we went wrong. And we're going to round decimals to the nearest tenth. When there is more than one term in a part of a fraction, see numbers 3 and 4 below, you are going to need to use parentheses and the distributive property. So we'll get down to that. So let's look at how we solve these first ones. So we know that 13 times 30 equals 12 times n, right? So now we've just taken these ratios that we've worked on and we're turning them into an equation that we can do what to solve for our variable, Gus?
Algebra?
Yeah, what do we call this kind of algebra, Evelyn? How do we solve for the n?
Oh, division.
How do we know it's division?
Because multiplication.
Opposite operations. So that opposite operation objective from a while ago, still coming back. We still need to use it. So we're going to do that. 13 times 30. Who knows what that is?
390.
390 equals 12n. Now comes in the opposite operations. To get n by itself, right now we're multiplying. Opposite operations say divide. So what's 390 divided by 12?
I'm going to check. 32.5.
32.5. So do you think it's important for us to have calculators? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when I say show your work, am I wanting to see the long division of 390 divided by 12? You don't have to do that long division part. This is when we say, oh, I'm in the bigger math. I'm in big kid math. I'm going to use the calculator. I need to show what calculations I'm doing. I should not just see n equals 32.5. We're not trying to do it all in our heads and putting it onto the calculator. We want to have it written out. Our calculations are written out step by step. We can use the calculator to do the actual math, but you're writing it out so you understand the steps you're doing, because I guarantee you when you get into higher level math, you're not going to be able to just know in your head what to do. I have had students be frustrated when all of a sudden they're used to being able to do it all in their head, and then now they don't know what to do because they hit a point where they can't do it in their head. And it's really frustrating. But if you're in the habit of writing it out, when you get to the harder math, you're writing it out, you understand what the next step is. It is important that we write it out, even when you say, but I can remember the steps in my head. You will reach a point that you cannot. And I want us to be comfortable writing it out. How am I going to write out my next one? What do you think, Audrey?
15 times 8 equals 21n.
So my next step is to do the 15 times 8. What is 15 times 8, Evelyn?
120.
How do I get my n by itself, Emmeline? What is 120 divided by 21? Ella.
5.7.
So
Oh,
you
yeah,
might
6.
look at it and say, oh, 5.71. Oh, it goes farther. But remember, he said to round it to the nearest tenth. So 5.7 is all you need. Now I'm looking farther down, and he said he actually took those challenging ones out. So we don't have to worry about that step. Okay, that's in an old math page that he had done, and he took it out. So one less thing to worry about. We just need to focus on knowing how to do the work that we're doing.
Do we still need to distribute the property?
We can still work it out this way that we're doing it. Okay, so we should be able to use this. So let's look at our next one. 10 over n equals 15/27. What is my equation I'm going to write down? James?
Wouldn't it be n times 15? Actually, no. That doesn't work. Okay, 10 times 27.
Well, think about that. Is it 15 times n? It is.
It is?
Yeah. And what does that equal?
10 times 27.
Does it matter if I put my n part on the right side or I put my n part on the left side? It doesn't matter. Because we could say 3 times 2 equals 2 times 3. It doesn't matter which side we put it on, right? It's multiplication. So we can put the n on the left, we can put the n on the right, as long as we're multiplying it by the right thing. As long as we're doing the cross product. We don't want to go straight across, we want to do cross. Okay? We don't want to do n times 27. So what is 10 times 27?
270.
And what do I want to do to get n by itself? Divide by 15. What is 270 divided by 15?
18.
It's not always going to be a decimal. Okay, sometimes you will get a whole number, and that's okay. Last one for us to do together. What equation am I going to write down, Evelyn?
33n equals 18 times 88.
So then I'm going to bring down that 33n equals, what is 18 times 88? Alexis.
1,584.
What is my next step so I can get n by itself? Alexis.
Divide by 30.
What is 1,584 divided by 33?
48.
But you are correct, Evan. N equals 48. It is important that I know some of us are saying, oh, but I can do the math in my head. I know what to put into my calculator. I truly want us writing it down step by step. Because we will, maybe not in this class, but next year or the year after, you will be getting into math problems that are more complicated that you cannot do in your head. Get used to writing it down now to help stop you from making simple mistakes when you're trying to do it all in your head. Math is not all mental math. We are in bigger math. We need to be comfortable writing it down step by step. So now, now we answer the phone. Hello, Miss Kate. Oh, is it time already? All right, thank you. No, thanks, bye. My friend, it is time. Okay, so now we have some word problems. Your famous gravy recipe. Have you noticed I use a lot of my questions have to do with food? Oh, Mr. Schultz. That says a lot about him, doesn't it? He likes his food. His gravy recipe can feed 6 people. How many batches will you need to make in order to have enough for all 27 people coming to Thanksgiving? Ooh, how do I figure that out? If my gravy recipe can feed 6 people. Who just said that? Mario, say it out louder. So you have n over 6. So 6 is what? People. Do we know how many gravy recipes there are to feed 6 people? No. My famous gravy recipe can feed 6 people.
Yeah.
Do we know how many recipes? One batch. One batch of gravy can feed 6 people. So it's not the question there. So we have one batch of gravy can feed 6 people. What does that equal? James? Frida? There are 27 people coming to Thanksgiving. So how many batches of gravy do I need to feed 27 people? So you could have set it up where it was 6 people over one gravy, and then it would be 27 people over n. Either way, we're multiplying the same numbers together. When we do those cross products, it's one batch times the 27, one batch times the 27. So as long as we stay consistent and we say gravy, gravy, people, people, you have to be consistent. This is why I say label. Labels are important. You need to know how to match up people to people, batches of gravy to batches of gravy. Evelyn. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not 27 batches. We would multiply 1 times 27 equals 6n. Right? 1 times 27 is just an easy one. We don't have to use our calculator to do 1 times 27. We can just say 27 equals 6n. So then what does n equal? Say it louder, Emily. 4.5. So we need 4.5 batches of gravy. Christopher.
Actually, never mind.
So we got the 1 times 27, 6 times n. Then we had to do opposite operations. So 27 divided by 6 got us the 4.5.
Oh.
So don't forget to divide by that number that's with the variable, because we want to get that variable by itself. Does that make sense? Okay. Oof. Let's look at our next one. I'm going to scroll up, so I'm going to erase all of this. Eight grapefruits. Oh, the food. The food. 8 grapefruits cost $6.32. How much will 13 grapefruits cost? How do I set this up? What do you think, Audrey?
8 over 6.32.
So we're going to remember our labels are important. So I'm going to say 8 grapefruits over $6.32.
And then
equals what? Oh, sorry. Keep going, Audrey.
13 over
13 grapefruits over N money. We want to know how much that cost is. So how do I set up my equation? Kate.
like the 13 times 6.32 equals 8 times 7.
8 times N. We're setting up our equation. 8 times N. So I have to do 13 times 6.32. What is that? James?
82.16.
Say that louder.
82.16.
How do I find N? Emmeline.
Divide by 8, which gets you 10.27.
I divide by 8 to get N by itself, and that gets me $10.27. So if it is a money, we're going to go to the hundredth place because you round it to that nearest cent. So you'll go to the hundredths if it's money. Okay. So if it's money, go to your hundredth. For every 30 minutes you swim, you burn 550 calories. Wow, that is a great exercise. How long will you have to swim to burn 875 calories? How do I set this up? Let me hear from somebody I haven't heard from. How should I set this up, Emily? What will my two ratios be? Say it louder. So when you say and 30, what does that mean? Put it as the ratio. 550 calories to 30 minutes. So I know that 30 minutes goes down below. So 550 calories for every 30 minutes. So 550 over 30 minutes. What does that equal? So it is important that we put those labels on there. So we know calories were on top. Calories have to be on top for the next one. So the calories and calories are both on top. Minutes and minutes are both on bottom. You do not know how many people will mess up when all of a sudden they give us the minutes and we put it on where the calories go and then we get a completely wrong answer. So you have to make sure your calories go to calories, minutes go to minutes. You could have said 30 minutes for every 550 calories. You did 30 over 550, but then you'd have to do N minutes over 875 calories. How do I set up my equation? Aiden.
875 times 30 equals 550 times N.
So my first step is writing that equation. Second step, I multiply 875 times 30. Evelyn.
26,250.
What is my next step, James J?
Divide that by 550.
I need to get my N by itself, so I'm dividing by 550, which gives me what, James?
47.43.
4-3.
Super close, but not quite. What did you get, Evelyn?
47.72.
What did you get, Emmeline?
47.7.
So it does say we can round to the 10th. So you could do 47.7. So if you rounded, but you said 47.4.
Oh,
So that's where you went wrong. Yep. So does this make sense? All right, let's look at our work page. Solve each proportion using those cross products. Round decimals to the nearest tenth. Make sure you are not just putting the answer. Show me your calculation. Show me your work. Okay, I want to see what the equation is that you're doing. Then we have word problems. Make sure you are doing those word problems correctly. Match up. If you're doing tacos to money, make sure you have tacos to money. So we're multiplying correctly. Any questions on today's work? For my friends at home, we hope you are well and we hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.